I did not eat out once or take my wife out to a date once or do anything unless someone paid for it.
Dream Team.
Dream Team.
Dream Team Podcast.
Dream Team Podcast, episode number 1. Dream Team Podcast, episode number 1. Hey guys, this is Tyler with the Dream Team Podcast. I'm here with the creator of the Dream Team of Spokane, Zach Allen, and the Vice President of Operations, Alejo Moreno. Welcome guys, welcome listeners. I think we've all been waiting for this day for a really long time. Today, I would like to introduce everybody to the Dream Team of Spokane, a little about who we are and what we do. I think it'd be most appropriate to start with you, Zach, the owner and creator of Dream Team of Spokane.
What's up?
Hey, man. So I'll just go ahead and start off with my first question so everybody can get to know us a little better. But what was it that pushed you into getting your real estate license? What turned that gear for you?
I think for me, the biggest thing was wanting freedom. I got around a bunch of entrepreneurs who instilled values into me in the thoughts of, if you are in a 9-to-5, you're at a fixed income that you have to accept for the rest of your life. You are always going to be at the mercy of another man's schedule and his vision for your life. And there's a lot of stuff that you cannot control. So once I got around these guys, I think my thought process completely changed. And I had then been changed. I was in college. I was going to get a psychology degree. And then I got around these guys and I couldn't do it anymore. So I dropped out. I was washing dishes for a while. I ended up getting a job at a car dealership. I ended up selling, I think, 65 cars in about 4 months. Then I learned I could sell. After that, I had enough saved, so I quit. When I got my real estate license, I did Lyft and Uber, which was the worst, to I guess keep my income. You know, I would say my bills were $2,000. Okay, now I got to go find a way to make $2,000 a month doing Uber and Lyft. I can't touch my savings. So, I mean, I'm telling you guys, for like a year, maybe a year and a half, I had holes in my socks, holes in my underwear.
And were you actively doing real estate while you were doing Uber and Lyft?
Yes, because you can't fire yourself from Uber or Lyft. That was always my thought process.
Definitely.
So I had freedom to then navigate and start my career. Truth be told, my mom kind of screwed me over. She promised me if I would quit and started, I would sell her house.
Ooh.
So for the get-go, I thought I had 20, 30 grand.
That alone is tough, mixing family with business. I think we've all kind of experienced that. So just to clarify for the listeners and myself, when you say you were looking for freedom, do you mean control of your time and being able to pretty much live your life the way you wanted to with your schedule?
I think over the last 3 years, the freedom has turned into much more than just, I think, I don't even know how to explain this. I'd say over the last 3 years, the freedom has turned into much more than just the freedom of a boss, someone telling you what to do. And it has turned more into time. And I think I always wanted my own time and buy back my time. But until you start getting rentals and earning quite a bit of money, I don't know if you necessarily understand how much buying back your time can change your life.
And I can relate to that too, because that was a big reason as to why I kind of switched gears, because that's actually where we met, was the auto industry. Mm-hmm. We were slanging whips together, moving metal. And then we were like, fuck this. We got to do some shit differently because this ain't working. Yeah. I fucking hated clocking in and listening to somebody else tell me when I can go home and when I can hang out with my family.
True that.
I was over that. But I mean, I was big on getting back my time, and I was sick of missing out on family events and opportunities to spend time with my kids and my wife. And so I could definitely relate to wanting that freedom and pushing back for that.
Yeah, for sure.
So how long was it before you actually decided to put a team together for yourself?
Yeah, so I think excuse me, the first brokerage I was at was very team oriented, and I could see the value in that. Even though the first brokerage I started at, it wasn't for me. I think that's very important. A lot of new agents don't think about that, about culture, where they fit in, who they're around, who they're learning from, how much money they're making, how much money their brokerage is taking, and then actually how much value. I mean, we had an interview today that someone talked about the value proposition their brokerage offers them at a 40-60 or a 50-50. And
Can you clarify for me what you mean by the 40,
yeah,
40,
so
60 or 50, 50?
they're getting 40% of commission. The office is getting 60, or the team. So all they're offering is paying for business cards, paying for listing signs and leads. But not every brokerage that provides leads is that low. And signs and business cards, you think that's a lot from the beginning, which really only costs like $400 altogether. So the team I started off was one of those lower commission teams. And then I went to a different team that had a higher, it was 80-20. But the cap was like 20,000.
And by cap, go ahead and define that just for those who don't understand what cap means.
So a commission cap is what the brokerage charges you for the year. So I pay it my 20% that they take, which is really good. Because, then that makes sense. They're paying for cards. They have people that upload my files. They're looking over my compliance. All day I'll pay you 20% just so I don't have to do that, because it's going to save me money. So the cap was 20, which means essentially they take 20% of my commission until I pay into 20 grand. And at the time, I was the fastest agent ever to cap there. And there's a few months where I beat the owner, and she had never been done.
Ouch.
For her, that had never been done.
That's one shot at their pride.
Well, I mean, she was like one of the people who brought me up. She was a huge mentor to me. So emotionally, it was hard to leave. It was more of a business thing. But yeah, she always rooted me on. She was great. So it wasn't like that at all. She was super supportive and always like, wow, you're doing really good. This is impressive, or whatever. So she was always super cool to me. But what happened is I got over, because your commission cap is a 12-month period. So I was probably 4 or 5 months where I was 100% commission. I was like, well, this is really nice. So I wanted to pay in $20,000 to remain at 100%. Some people like to do that. Some people don't mind going back. But for me, I had the money. I was like, here you go.
So you did so much business that you put yourself in a position where you can write your team lead a $20,000 check so you never had a cap again.
Correct.
And they're already paid in full.
Correct. And she did not want me to do that, or would not allow me to do that for reasons unknown. So that's when I started shopping. I had an interview at Keller Williams. I had a lot of people high up at Keller Williams tell me, hey, you can ask for this, you can ask for that, whatever. The guy did not tell me that was true. So then I was like, this guy could be lying to me. Maybe to his benefit, they switched stuff up. And they offered me like full 100% commission for the first 12 months, which was killer. I mean, they went after me pretty hard. I mean, they were like very aggressive in their pursuit of me.
Obviously, the brokerage is trying to capture you to work with them because you are one of the top producers, not only in the area, but in the nation.
I mean, maybe.
You hit your 5%, your top 5% for this first half of the year.
I mean, yeah. So
the stats are there if somebody really wants to look it up, and it's okay to stroke that ego a little bit.
I'll let you do that. I'll just keep wearing my Rick and Morty shirt. Yeah. So, but yeah. So I mean, yeah. So they went after me pretty hard, but the guy also was like, I wanted an 80-20, and I probably would have went to Keller Williams. And then he told me, well, we'll see in a year. And in a nice way, he pretty much was like, you still might be a flash in the pan, which means like you still might just got lucky. And I just did not sit right with me. And sure, he's right. But that's not what, in my opinion, you want to tell someone you're trying to bring on and heavily recruit is like, here's all this stuff. but you might be full of shit.
That's like telling a brand new music artist you may be a one-hit wonder. Let's get a couple albums before we actually discuss this.
Yeah. So, I mean, in which it could have been true, but I just don't know if that's the right thing. And I don't know if locking me in at 80-20 instead of 70-30 would have necessarily been like a big deal. So I don't know. And then that's when I went to professional realty services, and the way they recruited me was like, if you come here, great. If you don't come here, great. Either way, we'd like to have you. And at the time, Liz Anders, who's like my real estate mom, real estate sister, whatever.
Shout out to Liz Anders.
Liz Anders, baby. She's awesome. Yes. So she was there, and she helped me a lot at my old brokerage. And so I wanted to be closer to her because I knew it'd help my career. And then I went there and I had a lot of pending. So then I was like, I need a team because I'd have no one to open doors for me anymore. So then I didn't really necessarily want to, but I had to.
So did you have something you want to ask?
Yeah. So, since you created the Dream Team of Spokane, what all have you accomplished? Like, I know it's been how long since you created the Dream Team of Spokane?
About 1.5 years, maybe a few months more, but pretty much safe to say 1.5 years.
About 1.5 years. Just tell us kind of like what all have you created in that amount of time? It's not a long amount of time.
For sure, just for like
The progression and the development of the team.
Yeah, you started by yourself.
Teams, personal life, my business, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I'd say in about real estate in general has progressed for me pretty fast. My first year, I almost quit. I did only in my first 6 months, I did 0 deals, and my mom had screwed me over. So I was
Your first 6 months in real estate, just in general.
in general.
Okay.
I almost quit because my mom screwed me over pretty much. I mean, it just is what it is. And so I almost quit, but then I ended up doing 25 in 6 months. And then last year I did around like 70. And then since I started the team, I'm probably headed around probably about 60 to 100 this year myself. I'd have to relook at my numbers, but I brought on about 15 agents. We have about 5 in the wing getting licensed, and about 3 or 4 in Idaho that we're looking at starting. And that has just been 1.5 years. And then everybody on the team is looking at probably 1 to 2 a month. That's at least full time. I'd say everybody's getting a deal within their first 3 months. And what's even crazier is there's probably going to be 5 or 6 agents who cap in their first year, which I'm just letting people know who are listening that never happens.
As new agents, especially.
As new agents, yeah. Usually a first-year agent probably do about 2 to 5 transactions, but if people are capping, it means we're doing about 7 to 10, if not more.
And that's amazing because if I'm not mistaken, one of the things that you mentioned originally was all these established brokerages in the area who were the ones trying to recruit you also said that the method that you're using to put the team together isn't going to be a successful method. Is that correct?
Correct. I've had about 3 or 4 leaders from the community that own teams say I will not be able to make money doing what I do, and it will not be a recipe for new agents, which I feel is completely opposite.
So you mentioned it a couple questions back that you weren't too happy with the cultures on the teams that you did participate with initially. Mm-hmm. So what type of key pillars do you have in the culture within the dream team that were established, mm-hmm. and all the things that we set the expectation for with each and every agent before they join?
Yeah. I think a lot of it is some teams will just sign people to sign people.
Do you think a lot of new agents go with the first person that they see?
Yeah, I bet if you looked up statistics, it'd be probably 60 to 80%.
The very first person, not shopping around or nothing?
I bet it's pretty high.
I'd agree.
But yeah, the first, I'd say both the brokerages I was at, the second one I thought had a great culture. I think a lot of brokerages in general, they'll get hyped on like Tony Robbins or Gary Vee, which are both amazing people, but they lose their humanity. I think the human element of just basic common decency and acceptance is huge. And I think we have that here. Plus the drive of people keeping your ass accountable. Because if you're lazy one day and it comes from me and it starts from the top, and I'm not afraid to call people out, but also not be afraid myself to be called out. Right. It has to go both ways, or else it's a dictatorship. And I think that we do a good job of whatever we ask of people, then it's also asked of me, and okay to keep me accountable.
So accountability is one of the main pillars. What would you say if you had to put a one-word label to it? What would be a second pillar that is established in the Dream Team in this past year and a half that it's been operating?
Uniqueness.
Uniqueness. Give me an example of that, Tyler. DJ / radio host / real estate
Tyler
agent.
does just about everything.
Just about.
No.
You couldn't name something probably that
and
I've never
I'm
done.
joking about all those different, topics, but you are a very unique person.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
And
We
I
all
think
are.
that-
Every single person on
That's
the
why
team.
you fit in super well.
why we're here.
So give us a little background of your experience with being a part of the team and how you came to the position that you are, and
From flipping burgers.
from where you
Yeah.
started, your first conversation with Zach, and his technique.
Yeah,
to
like
recruiting.
what out of these things that I'm saying, like what was your experience?
So I started about 6 months ago. Started taking my test about a year ago, probably 6 months prior to that. And I didn't really know where to go. I mean, I got I started with Exit. Those were the first person that I ever knew of. The only person that I ever knew that really did real estate. Talked to somebody there, was like, all right, well, I'll take these tests that you just told me I should do, get my real estate license, and I'll come there. Well, luckily, in that amount of time where I was studying for everything, I realized there's different options. I think I read a part in the book where it talked about commissions, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, there could be other ones. Cool. Well, let's find out about other ones. And I shopped around to like 2 or 3 other places, and somebody told me, some other agent was like, you should check out Zach Allen's team. He's
I can't remember that agent. Wendy Kennedy.
Wendy Kennedy. Shout out to Wendy Kennedy.
She's super sweet girl.
We'll bleep out her last name if she doesn't want to be.
She's super sweet. I've done a few deals with her. She's really nice.
Yeah, she's great. She said a lot of great things about you. And so I went and looked you up on Facebook, looked the team up on Facebook, and was like, okay, well, I mean, I don't know. I think your profile picture at the time, I think it was you just got back from Miami or something like that.
Nice.
And I was like, bro, I don't want to talk to this
The
guy.
BC event.
This guy's too good. Like, I was like, this guy looks like a millionaire right here. I'm not gonna call him. I was like, what the? But I was like, bro, I studied so hard for all this stuff. I'm gonna talk to this guy and see what he's all about. So I called him. He talked to me about his team and everything that was going on for like 45 minutes. I didn't say a word. He just talked about his team and everything like that. He was excited. I asked him like
tends to happen.
Yeah.
I asked him like 2 or 3 questions, and then he was like, "We're having a team meeting tomorrow. Show up."
Be there, be square.
And I was like, hella nervous. I was like, bro, like this guy that I thought, and I mean, you're doing really well in real estate, but you're not biggest like thing ever. You're not that millionaire that I was scared of.
Yeah.
I didn't know who you were, but here we are. And so I went to that meeting, and I was sold by the time I left. I mean, there's probably 10 people there, bunch of great people. Talked with all of them. Everybody just brand new to real estate, just like I was. They were all succeeding with each other. They all looked like they enjoyed being there.
I remember when I saw your profile picture, I was like, oh, this dude looks weird as shit. I was like, you should probably come over.
That's funny.
That's pretty much how it was.
And for those who don't know, we will pull up a previous picture of both Zach and Tyler together, and they look like Russ and Logic.
Yeah, I got that picture somewhere.
Russ and Logic.
That was a good one.
That was amazing.
So, yeah, everybody was having a good time, and I think I shook Zach's hand at the end of it and was like, "Hey, I'm down. Where do I sign?"
Yeah,
I think I met him at PRS
I was
the
really
next morning.
impressed by how much everybody liked you too.
It was great.
Everyone's like, that guy works.
Here we are. I'm 6 months deep. Closed 10 plus transactions. We've started dipping my foot into investing and everything. I mean, I don't know if we want to get into that, but that's a whole nother topic.
We'll save that for another episode.
Yeah. I mean, I just felt it, man. Everybody was cool.
So
everybody
before
was
that
my
meeting
age, having fun.
Before that meeting, and when you actually engaged the conversation with Zach, what were you doing prior to that,
Prior to real estate?
work-wise?
Oh,
What did your life look like in that time frame? With what you were doing for work.
Oh gosh, before real estate, I was flipping burgers in a restaurant for 4+ years. Before that, I did a bunch of different little things, but I mean, it's been restaurants, pizza life. I mean,
Nice.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
I can't. I mean, I was flipping chicken at Chipotle not too long ago. So,
yeah, it's a
know
wild
that.
thought. Yeah, 6 months ago. It's crazy. Everything can change. If anybody out there is thinking about doing it, just do it.
Yeah, real estate will change your life.
I wouldn't say anything else. I actually talked to somebody today at the store, and they were like, "What do you do for a living?" And I told them, and they're like, "I'm actually taking my test." And I was like, "That's sick." Gave him my phone number. Hopefully, he's going to join the dream team, but we'll see about that.
That's amazing.
But he's great. I told him not give up because I remember 1,000 times I was like, "I'm not going to finish
Yeah,
these
my
tests."
first, like I said, my first year, dude, I cried like
Screw
4
these tests.
times and almost quit like 8 times. For those first 6
I don't want to
months,
study these books.
those first 6 months were rough with like not having my mom follow through and just having no deals. It's just like a pit of darkness.
It's tough. It weighs on you because I think everybody kind of experiences that what did you call it, the darkness originally, because I know I had my little 2 or 3 month gap where when I first came into real estate I had like 2 deals right off the bat and I thought I was killing it, and then I had like 2 or 3 months that just went freaking cold and I didn't sell shit. I had deals pending and I was digging for them, but nothing was closing. So I think we all go through that, but once we break through that initial barrier and understand how it works and get our flow, after that it kind of makes it a little bit easier because then you have a system and you just stay on top of it. But
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your choice in joining real estate and quick synopsis of how you're doing since then?
And also your experience with Dream Team and why you chose Dream Team.
yeah, definitely. So like I mentioned earlier, Zach and I, we actually met in the auto industry. We were at a tent sale in the Spokane Arena parking lot, and we were just selling cars, overpriced cars that probably shouldn't have been sold. But we were doing our thing, working. And Zach and I actually talked for probably over a year, just discussing getting in business. And I was in a position where I was a finance manager at a car dealership, and I was making a decent living, but I wasn't happy. I was spending all my time in an office. I was at a car lot from 7:30 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night sometimes. And I wasn't happy with it. But again, I was slaving to the dollar and I was working for the man. And in 2020, it was March 25th. I'll never forget it. COVID happened. I got laid off and the dealership didn't give a shit about me. I pretty much took a dealership that was never making money at all for the past 2 years to consistently in the green making money for a year and a half straight. And
And then they just got rid of you.
and when COVID happened, they just fucking cut me off and they're like, but you'll qualify for unemployment. And I'm like, great, I can live off of a third of the wages I've been making for the past year and a half. Like that doesn't work. And so I went full-time real estate, and I was licensed for about a year and a half before that. But that was my big push, and it was just a blessing in disguise. And Zach mentioned to me that he's starting his team, and I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. And I pretty much did whatever Zach said for the first 6 to 8 months, and
It
literally
obviously worked.
didn't question anything. He was like, do this, do that. You need to pay shit
I even
up.
told him to run down the street naked a few times. He just do it.
Fucking did it.
Do it.
Oh yeah. No, but I mean, I made some pretty big changes because the auto industry put me in a spot where I was like just living in debt. Like I had 2 cars that I owed a fuck ton of money on. I had credit card bills. I had personal loans. I created a lot of debt because I had high income, but I was spending it just as quick as I was making it. And the first thing Zach did to help me out, and this is what I love about the team, is it's not just somebody to work with. It's not just a team to support you in the industry.
It's life.
It's life. It's culture. They want to see you do well for you and who you actually are in your personal life. So I sat down with Zach, had some hard conversations, let him know the shitty financial position I was in, and he helped me get out of it. He was like, you need to pay off this, that, the other. And the only way I was able to do that was to sell the house that I was currently living in, that my wife and I bought in 2017. And it literally came down to the wire. Like I was like 2 days away from having to borrow $5,000 from Zach. But my house sale closed. I paid off over $60,000 in debt. And these are all things that Zach recommended. And that was almost 8 months ago now. And I have a fuck ton of money in my bank account. I'm living comfortably, and all I did was follow the process and put in the work and trust in Zach and the culture and what he's created, and it's changed my life drastically. I would not be where I am now if I didn't follow those steps and feed into the culture. So thank you, Zach, for helping me get to where
Good
I
for you,
am.
man. Good for you.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
that's huge.
It's
Congrats.
pretty fucking amazing. Thank you.
But yeah, that's
But it wasn't easy.
that's the kind of the culture that we wanted to make, though. Is I mean, trust me, I don't like to be like
An asshole.
I don't like to be like, hey, Alejo, you're probably the worst person with money I've ever seen. Yeah, that's a hard. Not,
Hey, but you
not that
figured it
bad.
out.
He wasn't that bad, but I'm just saying, like, that's
It was that bad. It was that bad.
I've seen worse.
But in the reality, like
Hope he wasn't looking at me.
having somebody fucking look at Tyler. I've seen worse.
No,
But having
not
somebody
that
that can tell you that honest stuff really helps with life progression.
especially in a team setting too. Like,
Yeah.
you just easily, hey
'Cause
man, like
all it is just
this is how you do it, right?
The same freaking face slap I got for 3 years from my
Who slapped you in your face?
my former coaches and then when I was starting to become an entrepreneur. I mean, luckily again, I didn't grow up in the best home, which I guess we could always talk on another episode, but my mom at least instilled like money values
Yeah.
into me. I always had a very good credit score. There's a few times she bailed me out, when I was like 18, 19, 20, because she literally was like, I was like 17, bro. And she's like, here's a credit card. And I'm just like, yes. There's $1,000
Well, yeah.
on this. So she bailed me out a few times, just helping me out. But it's just, then I learned and I didn't do it again. My mom helped me out and it was huge. And then I just had a good credit score, and then I was always like good with numbers and good with math, and then she taught me how to save money. So, for a lot of things my parents aren't, my mom has really always been very money savvy. So I feel like that's been able to like have me help people.
Not
in that.
mine. My parents were like, fucking burn it. They call it currency for a reason. Spend it, keep it in the system.
Yeah.
And that's why I had so much fucking debt.
So you're just trying to instill all of this on, I guess, everybody, your friends, your team,
I mean, my friends,
so it doesn't take them that long to figure it out.
my friends, and
You might as well do it up front.
I think there's a boundary there. But my clients, sure. I mean, I think a lot of that helps. Hey, it might not be what they want to do, but I can offer that perspective.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I use Hunter as a lender too, is because he's so good with his money and he can give that other perspective. I mean, he saved my client $50,000 on their cash to close.
Yeah, we got to get Hunter in here.
And now they have money in their pocket because it was my idea to pay off their student loans. And he looked at it like, they're paying $100 a month. Wouldn't you rather have 50 grand in your pocket? And I'm like, yes. So, just like having those kind of people around you that make you
Yeah.
think different. And that's kind of that money knowledge, so to speak.
Yeah, because I can say firsthand, I had zero financial literacy at all. And now I'm getting to, and I'm still working on it. I'm not perfect. I don't have everything figured out, but I'm to the point where I understand, you have to have multiple sources of income. You have to be able to spend less than what you're making. And those are kind of just some of the key things to even
working
understand
on
it
that
and
one.
getting ahead of it.
Budget,
It's hard.
budget.
It's not easy.
That's
Yeah.
why I said when I first started real estate,
Your pockets start
I
getting
had
big.
I literally had holes in my socks, holes in my underwear. There's like shirts I had I wouldn't get rid of that my wife was like, dude, you look disgusting. I didn't eat out. All the guys at Honda used to make fun of me. I eat the same shitty chicken. My wife made it good, but it was just like the fact of just
Shout out to Zach's wife's chicken.
right? Just the same thing. It was just the same. You eat anything, it don't matter how good, for a year straight, it's shit.
For sure.
So I just ate the same shitty chicken and rice for like a year while I was saving money. I did not eat out once or take my wife out to a date once or do anything unless someone paid for it. To save
Don't
money.
worry, that's changed since then.
Kind
We're
of.
good. We're good.
I'm better than I used to be. But
All right. So really quick, where do you see? I guess we could do yourself, but mostly your team. 12 months from now, a year from now.
I want Alejo's already running Spokane. I want Dustin. Well, I guess they're gonna
Killing
like.
it.
I guess they're gonna like split it or whatever. But Dustin running and Alejo running Spokane and Idaho. I'd like me, Dustin, and Alejo at least to be licensed in Idaho. Some of the other team members, obviously, but I'd like to have in the next year at least 10 Idaho agents. 20. I think I'm going to put the cap at like 20, 22 realtors in Spokane.
Shout out to any new agents if you guys want to be a Dream Team agent. There's like 5 spots left, so make it quick.
Yep.
Slide into the DM.
Yep. And then yeah, I'd like everybody to be doing at least 10 a year. I think I already have 6 that'll probably do more than that, but maybe even 10 that'll probably do more than that their first year. But yeah, I think that's kind of a start. And then for me, just to kind of scale back a little bit from the retail side.
Yeah. We're not going to get too much into it, but what does that look like maybe on your investment side and stuff about a year from now? What are you looking for goal-wise?
I think it'd be fun to start my own construction company as like a money partner. Obviously do flips, wholesales, which we can explain later what all the differences mean. And then obviously keep my referral base, and then just spend more time with my family.
That'd be sweet.
That's the best
That's
part.
why I'm here.
Spend more time with
Amen.
your family. That's what it's all
But
for.
it's just like that initial, obviously 3 to 5 year sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I think I'm in year 3, so I probably do have another year or 2 to go. But that doesn't mean in the last leg of 2 years I can't spend more time with them as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I think we can wrap up this first episode unless anybody has any final burning thoughts or
No, I think that was a good one.
statements that they want to make before we roll out of here tonight.
No, I think that was a pretty good first episode.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us for Dream Team Podcast Episode 1. My name is Tyler. Again, we're here with the CEO of Dream Team of Spokane, Zach Allen, and the VP, Alejo Marino. We'll see you guys next time.
Also, any referrals, we can do Washington, Idaho, and across the country with our referral partners. So just keep us in mind.
DreamTeamofSpokane@gmail.com. Get at us.